When it comes to realistic truck simulation games, American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator 2 are still the kings of the genre. They have held that position for years, and honestly, no other trucking game comes close to matching the amount of content these two games offer. Every year we get new trucks, map expansions, game engine improvements, quality of life features, and gameplay mechanics that make driving feel even more immersive. And the exciting part is that SCS software is nowhere near finished. In fact, they have one of the busiest roadmaps they've ever had. We've got console versions in development. Coaches are coming. The road trip project is being worked on more. But out of everything SCS has been working on, there is one announcement that genuinely caught me by surprise. I honestly wasn't expecting this. Not this early. And judging by the reactions online, I wasn't the only one. Next month, SCS Software will once again be attending Gamescom, one of the biggest gaming events in the world. Every year, this event gives developers a chance to showcase upcoming games and projects, and SCS has confirmed that they'll be there with playable demonstrations of several upcoming projects for both ETS2 and ATS. Normally, when SCS says they're bringing demos, you expect projects that are already close to completion. That's what made one particular announcement so surprising. Among the playable demos will be British Columbia. Yes, British Columbia. When I first saw that announcement, I had to read it twice because I genuinely thought this DLC was still years away. British Columbia was only announced last year. Usually when SCS reveals a completely new map expansion, especially one that opens a brand new region, there is still a long development cycle ahead. That's why many of us expected this DLC sometime in 2027. Instead, they're already preparing a public demonstration that changes everything, because SCS normally doesn't bring projects to Gamescom unless they're confident enough for thousands of people to play them. Visitors will sit down, drive the roads, explore the scenery, and experience the map before release. That tells me something important. British Columbia is much further along than many of us thought. Now, does that automatically mean it will release immediately after Gamescom? Not necessarily. SCS has never promised a release date, but showing a playable demo is usually a very good sign that development has reached an advanced stage. It means major systems are working, the roads are drivable, cities are taking shape, landmarks are in place, performance is stable enough for public demonstrations. Those are huge milestones. And that's exactly why this announcement shocked so many people in the ATS community. For years, American Truck Simulator has focused almost entirely on the United States, state after state, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. This isn't another American state. This is Canada, a completely different country. And that makes this expansion much more exciting than simply adding another state. Canada has its own road standards, its own highway designs, its own road signs, its own regulations, and in many places it uses the metric system. Instead of miles, you'll often see distances displayed in kilometers. Instead of miles per hour, speed limits may appear in kilometers per hour. Even the driving environment has its own personality. That means SCS isn't simply extending the ATS map northward. They're creating an entirely new driving experience, and that's something many players have wanted for years. One of the biggest attractions of British Columbia is the scenery. If you've ever looked at photographs of the province, you'll know exactly what I mean. This isn't flat desert. It isn't endless farmland. This is a province filled with towering mountain ranges, dense forests, crystal clear lakes, rushing rivers, dramatic valleys, and winding highways that cut through some of the most beautiful landscapes in North America. Imagine hauling heavy cargo while climbing steep mountain passes, driving through thick forests where sunlight barely reaches the road, crossing long bridges over deep valleys, passing enormous lakes that stretch as far as you can see. Watching the weather change as you move through different elevations. That variety alone will make British Columbia feel completely different from many existing ATS states. Another thing that makes this DLC special is the road network. British Columbia has famous highways that truck drivers know very well. Some roads hug mountainsides, others follow rivers through narrow valleys. You'll find tunnels, bridges, logging routes, industrial towns, coastal areas, and busy transport corridors connecting Canada with the United States. It's the kind of place where every delivery could feel different. One moment you're surrounded by forests. The next you're climbing through rocky mountains, then suddenly you're entering a modern city before heading back into untouched wilderness. That constant change in scenery is something ATS players always appreciate. It's one of the reasons states like Colorado and Montana became so popular. British Columbia has the potential to offer even more variety. Of course, adding Canada isn't just about beautiful scenery. It's also an important milestone for American Truck Simulator itself. For years, players wondered if ATS would ever leave the United States. Would Canada happen? Would Mexico eventually arrive? Would SCS expand beyond the original vision? Now we're starting to get that answer. British Columbia is opening the door. Once that first Canadian province is added successfully, future expansions become much more realistic. More Canadian provinces could follow. The road network can continue growing north. Eventually, players could experience long international routes crossing between countries, making ATS feel even larger than it already is. That's exciting because it shows how ambitious SCS has become. Instead of simply continuing the same formula, they're expanding the entire scope of the simulator. And honestly, I didn't think we would reach this point so quickly. When British Columbia was announced, I assumed it would require years of work, new assets, new road signs, new infrastructure, new industries, new scenery, different road markings, new environmental details. All of that takes time. So hearing that it's already heading to Gamescom as a playable demo genuinely surprised me. And judging by community discussions, plenty of other players felt exactly the same way. Many people expected Missouri, Louisiana, Illinois, and other US states to remain the focus for quite some time before Canada became a reality. Instead, SCS appears to be moving much faster than expected. That's great news for the future of ATS. It also says a lot about the size of the development team. Over the past few years, SCS has expanded significantly. Multiple map teams now work simultaneously on different projects while one team builds new states, another rebuilds older areas, another develops new features, another focuses on future expansions. That allows several major projects to progress at the same time. Looking ahead, the future of ATS has honestly never looked brighter. We're getting new gameplay features, we're getting more realistic trucks, we're getting improvements to physics, we're getting better graphics, we're getting new map expansions, and now we're preparing to drive into Canada. That is something many of us have dreamed about for years. Whether British Columbia releases later this year or sometime after Gamescom, one thing is already clear. The project is much further along than many of us expected. And if the demo impresses visitors at Gamescom, I think the excitement around this DLC is only going to grow. So what do you think? Were you also surprised to see British Columbia already heading to Gamescom as a playable demo? Or were you expecting it to arrive this soon? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.